Counter Spy is one of those games I tried because recently I've been on a roll with these PlayStation indie titles that really struck a chord with me. Erica was pretty good, Here They Lie, although confused the living daylights out of me, was still enjoyable. Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition, which I ended up enjoying more than I thought. Now I'm on Counter Spy, a 2.5D scroller that should not surprise you if you have played games like Shadow Complex. Is Counter Spy a good game? Is it worth playing? Time to give you my honest opinion. Developed by Dynamighty, which is no longer in business, Counter Spy was released in August 2014 for PS3, PS4 and Vita. It was later released on iOS and Android in September of that year. You play the role of a spy working for an organization named Counter. At the start of the game, you are told that the Imperialist, which is the US, and the Communist, which are the Russians, are in a battle to launch a missile strike on the moon. Why the moon? Who cares? Now it's your responsibility to infiltrate both countries' bases and steal their launch plans. Really, this is what the whole game is all about. At the mission select screen, you decide which country's base you want to sneak in. You will get a brief overview of what to look out for at that base, be it collectibles, blueprints, formulas, or launch plans. When you have collected enough launch plans, you will unlock the final mission. From there on in, you will have the option to continue to infiltrate bases to collect any remaining blueprints, formulas, or any other collectibles you may have left, or you can play the final mission to finish the game. I have to say I really liked the approach of the developers when it came to the final mission. It's all about unlocking items, and depending on what you unlock and what you take in, the final mission will either be a breeze or a pain in the backside. The key selling point of the game is that the levels are randomly generated every time, so your experience will never be the same. But truth be told, there were instances where I saw a section of the level I was playing as same as the level I had played earlier. So yeah, that was a lie. But randomly generated levels presented its own set of issues. First up, the spike in difficulty levels. There were a couple of times in the level where I had no other choice but to engage in combat, and there were times when I entered a room and the enemy was right there in front of me. Needless to say, they clocked me instantly, and my stealth chain was broken faster than my heart when a straight up 10 out of 10 calls me ugly. At least the gameplay itself is kind of enjoyable, I guess. This is a side scroller you are playing where you are controlling a spy, so stealth was key here. And if you have played games like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which is the best in the entire series, and I will physically fight you if you say anything otherwise. If you have played Snake Eater, you will be right at home with this game. You can sneak behind different enemies, silently take them down, take cover behind objects, take down enemies without leaving your cover, hang from railings, pull enemies over, and climb ladders. Which I learned quite late in my experience that if you climb ladders only halfway, it renders you invisible. So basically a lot like Metal Gear Solid 3 but without Kojima. But unfortunately the game does not play like Kojima's masterpiece, as there were a lot of issues with gameplay. I've already mentioned the issue with randomly generated levels, and that goes the same with enemy placement as well. There were times when generated levels were easy to breeze through, and sometimes there were so many enemies in one section that stealth was not an issue. At that point, all you can do is shoot anyone that stands in your way. Surprisingly, the gunplay is not that bad. When you are in cover, you cannot blind fire, but you can move your reticule over the enemy you want to target. That way you know where you're shooting when you pop out of cover. And cover becomes extremely vital when you're playing the game, because that's the only way to see what lies ahead and what kind of enemies are in your way. You'll be going up against soldiers which can go down easily, sergeants that take a few more bullets to go down, these helmets wearing arseholes who block your headshots and thus breaking your stealth chain. The good thing is that each level is broken into sections, so if you're spotted in one section and have no other choice but to go guns blazing, you can still go for stealth in the next section. That is, if they don't see you the moment you enter that section. Enemies also carry a variety of guns like assault rifles, shotguns, grenade launchers and rocket launchers. They also throw grenades at you to flush you out, which you can throw back at them. All of this variety to enemies would have been fine if it wasn't for the inconsistent AI. Sometimes they will spot me easy, but sometimes they won't notice me doing a takedown from cover on their comrade. They will clock the body but not me. Sometimes they won't hear the camera I just shot not too far from them. I know I shot with my silenced pistol, but still, a camera just malfunctioned over an enemy's head. They must have heard the impact of the bullet, the camera sparking or something. Nope, they don't hear any of that. But me running towards them, even when I'm a good feet away from them, they would hear that just fine. But what I found really weird was when I engaged with combat against these enemies. Sometimes they would kill their own by accident. This happened on more than one occasion. Suppose an enemy was shooting at me with a grenade launcher. I saw the grenade bounce off from my cover and landing next to another enemy. Boom goes the grenade and I have one less enemy to deal with. It was fun to watch and I guess it goes well with the whole cartoonish nature of the game, but it was still weird to see. I mean, the grenade is right there. The enemy can see the grenade pop back at them. Can they not like switch cover or something? But speaking of cartoonish nature, I did like the art style of the game and character design. Some textures looked a bit ugly up close, but overall I liked what I saw. The music was also pretty good and reminded me of those old school spy movies. Unfortunately, the rest of the game did not feel that polished. Aside from the issues I have just mentioned, the game does have some occasional bugs and glitches that can affect the experience. I noticed bodies being stuck between different platform levels, which alerted the guards because they noticed their friend dangling through a solid platform, sound dipping out, spawned objects blocking my path, and the game locking me in a completely different animation which got me killed. Each side has 5 DEFCON levels, 5 being the lowest, 1 being the highest. You have to make sure that DEFCON level stays as low as possible. If DEFCON level reaches higher than 1, a countdown will start, which means that a missile is about to launch and you have to race to the end of the level to stop it. DEFCON levels are raised every time you are spotted by cameras or when enemies use their radio, in which case you need to shoot them to interrupt their animation. If you fail to reach the end of the level by the time the counter hits 0, it's game over. Of course you can continue, but still it's kinda annoying. Luckily, there are special officers in the level who you can intimidate to bring the DEFCON level down, but they need to be all by themselves if you need to pull it off. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Honestly, aside from creating the tension of triggering a countdown, there is no other incentive to keep the DEFCON level down. It's not like you will face less resistance if DEFCON level is down to 5 or something. It doesn't serve any other purpose. If you're good at the game or if you don't mind continuing multiple times, then you can pretty much play at DEFCON level 1 without a single care in the world. For crying out loud, I played the last mission on DEFCON level 1 and beat it in 2 tries. No spy game is complete without cool gadgets and weapons, and in Counter Spy, there are plenty to unlock. Weapon roster includes silenced handgun, shotgun, silenced shotgun, assault rifle, tranquilizer darts, serums that turn enemies onto each other, and many more which I could not unlock. Formulas include stuff like persuasion, which brings DEFCON a level down, damage reduction, and so on. The thing is, you don't just unlock weapons and items, you collect blueprints for weapons and formulas. Then you will have the option to purchase them. Weapons purchased will remain unlocked throughout the campaign, while formulas need to be purchased at the start of every mission, and you can bring up to 3 formulas at the start of the level. The problem with that is the game itself is quite short. I managed to beat it in under 5 hours, and once you unlock the final mission, yes, you'll have the option to continue infiltrating bases to collect more blueprints. Trouble is, there is no point. If you manage to get to the final mission without all items, so chances are you will not need them in the final mission too. It will make the mission slightly easier, but if you're good at the game without those items and upgrades, then they are not necessary. I guess it was the developer's idea to add to the longevity of the game, and I would have stuck around to unlock more items if the game was not this inconsistent. At the end, I just wanted this to be over and done with. It would have been nicer if the weapons were unlocked from the start. I mean, I am a super secret spy, but in order for me to use them, I need to purchase more ammo for that gun type, or for that to happen I need to be better at the game, find more dossier which will net me more cash and so on. You know, that kind of approach. But this tedious approach of finding blueprints and then I have to buy the weapon in order for me to use them, and then I have to also buy ammo to carry on using it, it just didn't appeal to me. There's even an online mode, but for some reason I could not access it. I guess it has been turned off or something. In conclusion, Counter Spy tries to do a lot of things differently. There were some neat ideas in the game, but the developers never really explored them or properly fleshed them out. The game has some neat art style and the music is brilliant, but the glitches, inconsistent enemy AI, and unbalanced gameplay ideas really drag it down. Counter Spy is available to buy on PSN for £9.99. Would I recommend it? Honestly, I won't. Save your money and time by playing something else. It's not a bad game, I just feel like it could have been better, and with games like Shadow Complex, Limbo, Inside, and Little Nightmare available, there is no need to play this game. Alright guys, that's enough from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. I'm a part-time YouTuber, so your engagement with the channel will help me a lot in the long run. Peace out, angels, and stay awesome.